Hello, hello, hello. I am Practitioner Jay, and I usually start my classes with a corny dad joke. Although today it's going to be slightly different. This I got from a colleague of mine, and I thought it was pretty funny, so I wanted to share it. And it goes like this. To those that I offended in 2023, please try to improve so I don't offend you again in 2024. But bump. All right, if you can take two deep healing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, preferably with your eyes closed, but however you feel comfortable. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe slowly into the nose and hold for a second. And then slowly breathe out. This is telling your heart and lungs and mind and soul all is good in the hood. All right. This is more geared towards those that are either reconciling after broken promises, broken trust, broken vows, or if you just want to have some tools in your toolbox for moving forward in a healthier relationship. What does mutual respect look like in a marriage or a relationship? The first answer the majority would give or jump to would be love. This is what mutual respect is. It's love. And while that's not entirely wrong, it's not necessarily exactly right either. The right answer, according to many professionals, would be respect. Without respect, love erodes. In most marriages, long-term relationships, or in most long-term relationships, doesn't have to be marriage, respect is crucial, more crucial than actually love. When one partner loses respect for the other, the relationship crumbles. But when pressed, most couples would probably affirm that yes, they do have respect. That box is checked when it comes to how they view their partner. But how do they show that? How do they show that respect to their partner? What does it actually look like in their relationship? It is in a relationship, mutual respect looks like speaking to one another in a respectful and considerate fashion. Keeping your partner in mind when you're making decisions. That's what it looks like. It also looks like responding to your partner's needs and wants. It doesn't mean that you have to like, love, or agree with their position or necessarily sacrifice yourself in order to make or keep your partner happy. But it does mean communicating with love, even when that's difficult. And that's where it gets challenging. Is respect is even if I don't agree with you, even if my emotions are high, even if A, B, and C, I'm still going to speak with you out of respect. Sounds simple, right? But it's easy to think that you're being respectful when you're not. Respect can be lost when one partner chooses to define the word in his or own terms, which is why I'm giving this class to hopefully give you a little bit of perspective. A lot of times couples try to establish respect by working within their own definition and trying to make things fair by being equal. They believe, for example, that it's respectful for both parties to be able to go out one night a week. The problem is it's not about keeping everything equal, it's about keeping things equitable. So one partner may want to go out with friends once a week, while the other partner may prefer a weekend with friends. Or maybe they're an introvert or what have you, and they would just like a massage, not to be around people. The breakdown of communication, a lack of understanding of the other's needs, is the beginning of the erosion of respect. Now, communication is important, but what is absolutely critical is effective communication. Because if you can talk, you can communicate. It's all that understanding and tone and using I statements and understanding love languages and how your partner wants to be talked to. That's effective communication. So respect requires a conversation. We don't know what feels respectful or disrespectful to our partners unless we ask. There are some obvious things, of course, but deep respect lies in these subtle details, and that could be different for everyone. We all have our own examples. We all have our own thoughts. We all have all this stuff. So, what's respectful to one person may not be to the other. For example, leaving the garage door open all night may drive one person crazy or insane, and the other could care less, not be bothered whatsoever. But it's not about the garage door. It's about listening to your partner and remembering what's important to them, and then taking into the account how to make decisions moving forward. I have a saying that I tell my clients all the time. It's not about the dirty dishes. It's not about the dishes. It's not about the dishes in the sink. That's the topic we like to argue about. We got to get onto the issues, It's not the top of the iceberg that sank the Titanic. It's what we didn't see. So we love to argue about topics, but that's all we're doing. We need to get to the issues, which is below the sea level. Mutual respect can take root when both parties come to the realization that each in the relationship is there by choice. Being in a relationship isn't easy, and every relationship will have its difficulties, even sometimes impossible challenges. But even in those moments, you have to remind yourself that you're choosing this relationship, you're choosing to stay. You are empowering yourself to see where this is going. You can also empower yourself to say, I'm done, but don't think that you're a weakling or, what have you, if you choose to say, I'm not at my best, I'm not thrilled, but I'm empowering myself to give this another day, give this another week, give this another month, what have you. And talk to your partner as if you're talking to a stranger, a professor, a family member that you respect. No matter what, no matter good times or bad times, make it a point that you are going to, you don't have to like, love, agree with, emulate, whatever, but just speak with them as if they are a human being that deserves respect, even if their behavior wasn't respectful. If you wouldn't give yourself permission to yell or swear at anybody else that you respect, don't give yourself permission to yell and swear at your partner. Mutual respect is contingent on 4 conditions. And this is mutual love, mutual respect, mutual benefit, and mutual support. When the above 4 conditions exist, the mutuality is necessary for love to exist. Now, when it comes to building respect, equity in relationships, couples need to focus on being responsible for how their actions affect each other. Some of it's common sense and usually centers around being personally responsible. Don't put empty milk carton back in the fridge. Clean up after yourself. Let the spouse know you're running late. Some simple things that are common sense. Well, I shouldn't say that because what's common to one person is not common to the other. But for the most part, I always say this not only to my spouse but to my kids. If you do a little bit above and beyond, that'll cut down on how people feel disrespected. For instance, I'm usually the one in charge of doing dishes after we eat. So if somebody puts their dirty dish on the counter, that's fine. I appreciate it. If somebody puts their dish in the sink, that's great. If somebody empties their food, their leftovers in the trash, puts their dish in the sink, rinses it off, whoa. So I just tell my family members, go a little bit above and beyond. You don't have to do it. It's not common sense to you, maybe, but if everybody's going a little bit above and beyond, the possibility for others to feel disrespected or disrespect kind of lowers, which is great. Everybody, it's a win-win. In other words, basic human consideration, which is what I was just saying, but it also means taking responsibility for your own triggers or your own needs, to have a talk with your partner as needed. Without constant communication, I said this before, communication, effective communication, the respect will never be achieved. You can't assume people know things like, my spouse could care less if people wear shoes and sneakers in the house. Absolutely not. You take your shoes off at the door. I did not scrub the floor and vacuum my rugs and spray OxyClean so somebody can just come in and, decide they want to spread worm guts that they just stepped on outside on my floors. Absolutely not. So, but keep in mind what one person considers a high priority or a non-negotiable, the other person could just be completely clueless of. And it's not an intentional thing. You need that conversation. Keep in mind, every person comes into the relationship with their standards, their expectations, their pet peeves, and more. The goal is to grow and meld together. I always say that when people get into relationships, it's like two pieces of sandpaper come together. A lot of rough edges, a lot of rough sides, and you got to constantly work together to smooth those edges out. And then together, we constantly work and smooth one another out to make for a peaceful, calm living condition and situation in the future. So I hope you got something out of this class. I hope it helps you in the relationship you're currently in, and or it helps you in a future relationship that you may get into. And if neither applies, well, now you know, and now you can share with other people to help them in their relationship. So knowledge is power.